Let's talk about The Apprentice, and it's almost time for this.
Who is doing the mincing?
It's time for our spoiler alert. In fact, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you now who was fired by Sir Alan or Lord Sugar. It was Joy. She was the latest apprentice to go. This week's task was to design and create a brand new beach accessory. But it didn't all go according to plan. TV critic Toby Earley's with us. And we also, I'm very pleased to say, have the winner of The Apprentice in 2008, Lee McQueen. Hello to both of you.
Good evening.
Tony.
Toby, sorry, by the way, I didn't mean to give you a lesser build-up than Lee. I got very excited then, didn't I, when I saw that Lee was on.
Right,
and, I underplayed you, Toby. So
yeah, as usual.
I shall give you a bigger build-up next time. I thought tonight, Toby, I'll start with you. It was a classic episode.
Yeah, I just hope in future when they come to the boardroom and they've got the girls' team, can they actually just have them in a cage as opposed to just the boardroom? Because the way they fight is quite extraordinary, isn't it? And the squabbling is just it's unending between them. And it's no surprise really that Stella, who I identified last week, if you remember, Tony, as being quite a sharp operator, moved over to the chaps and duly made sure she got them into line and once again proved that she is one to watch. Oof.
Are you having a flashback?
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? Do you know why the girls' team lost tonight, though,
Why?
Tony? They were too big for their boots.
Yeah, and their inventions were rubbish as well, the whole lot of them, really. Lee McQueen, what did you make? I mean, guys, they've stopped now. Going from the silence to that. It's incredible, isn't it?
Silence.
Sublime to the ridiculous. Lee, what did you make of the squabbling? And was that normal? Or was it, do you think, played up for the cameras? Was there a lot of arguing while you were there?
Oh, it's 100% normal, let me tell you. There's no playing up to the cameras at all. In fact, in the whole Apprentice experience that I went through, you don't really notice the cameras are there. And I know that sounds stupid, but you don't. You've got a task to do and you get on and do it. I think one of the issues with the girls today, or this evening, was that they didn't fight enough effectively in the final three. Joy, for example, she kind of didn't have any get up and go, did she?
She didn't, but in the end she had to get up and go herself because she was the one who was fired by Lord Sugar. Listen, Lee, I'll be back with you shortly, and Toby as well. We'll delve into The Apprentice. We've got some of the highlights from tonight's programme. If you want to have a chat about that, you can do. 0500 909 693. You can text us on 85058. Yes, good evening. And amongst all this, we've been discussing The Apprentice. The 2008 winner, Lee McQueen, is with us. Hello again, Lee.
Hello, Tony. How you doing?
I'm all right. And Toby Earle's back with us as well, TV critic. Hello, Toby.
Hello there.
And I'm glad I found my notes now. I made some notes earlier on when I was watching this. There were all sorts of great moments tonight. One particularly when the men's team were asking Stella, their sole woman, to model bikinis, and she was a bit reluctant, and one of them just said, "Oh, go on, take one for the team," which I thought was a classic phrase.
Yeah.
And the girls tried to invent a foot glove, which I'm not sure would have gone down too well. Lee, what did you make of their actual inventions? Describe them for us and tell us what you thought.
Well, I thought the girls' invention was a little bit like flat pack furniture, to be honest. It was one of them kind of things that I think actually one of the retailers said it might blow away quite easily, and that's exactly what I thought. You know, you kind of spend half an hour trying to put it together. By that time, you know the cloud would have probably covered over. Certainly, if you was in Butlins down on the south coast, and it probably wouldn't have been worth reading your book.
It was a book reading device built basically on chopsticks. Toby, is that right? That you buried in the sand and propped up? Yeah,
that's right. They had a little sort of pouch you'd stretch between two a frame essentially. I was just kind of disappointed. It only consisted of 8 separate pieces that required assembly. Why not go for 16 or maybe 24 or 52?
Anyone who's ever tried to assemble a windbreak,
a deck chair,
we'll be able to identify with that.
The boys would have never read the instructions on any sort of flat pack type furniture at all, would they? So it wouldn't have been any good for them guys.
Where the boys invented the coolie, which is a towel with a cooling flask in the pillow.
Yeah, it was kind of like a cooling system, wasn't it, inside the pillow? And what you do, you'd roll the towel out in order for you to lay on it, and it was detachable as well, wasn't it, Toby? I think so. Whereby you could detach the towel, shake the sand off, but still keep your water quite cold or your drinks quite cold. In fact, any personal artefacts, can you had your mobile phone and sort of stuff in there?
Yeah, but they were saying in the pitch that it looked cool, but one of the women in the audience caught them out and just said, "No, it looks like a towel," and that's all it was. Really, it didn't scream, "I want to take one on holiday next year." To be perfectly honest,
I've got to say it could have been one of the most dynamite inventions ever created. It could have been the telephone, it could have been the flushing lavatory, but Chris's pitch was so awful he couldn't have sold a bucket of water to someone who's on fire.
Remind us.
His his pitch consisted of him sort of having to actually look at his notes to remember what his name was. It then involved having Christopher, a chap in what appeared to be at least a two-piece suit, strutting along as if he's walking along the beach, and lines like, "Here he is, looking cool," and trying to sell this as some kind of lifestyle choice. And it was so earnest and it was so leaden that I think that he was a poor choice to present.
To be fair, when talking about choice of presenting, Stella did actually flag up that she wanted Jamie to do the presentation halfway through, because it was obviously his idea. He was going to be quite passionate about it. He knew about the product himself and all that sort of stuff. And I thought that would have been a good choice. And we don't really know as viewers actually what happened, because it ended up being Chris that actually did the presentation, as you said, Toby. But fair play to him. He got criticised and he still stood up and did it. So you got to give him some sort of credit. But I kind of agree. It wasn't the best pitch in the world, was it?
Lee, you won it in 2008, and just bear with me. I have to play my spoiler alert.
Who is doing the mincing?
Now, Joy got kicked out tonight. Could you identify where she went wrong? Is there a game plan people can follow? Because I think initially she tried to hide in the background, but just sort of got dragged into the foreground because she tried to hide in the background.
Yeah, I think that's completely spot on. I mean, a lot of people said in 2008 that I hid in the undergrowth, to coin a phrase from Nick Hewer.
You actually sounded like David Bellamy when you said that as well. That was a great impression.
Lovely in the undergrowth, lovely. No, I think it's all about hard work, and I think Lord Sugar summed it up as he normally does really well. Although I did think he made the wrong decision tonight. But with Joy, it was almost like she was a rabbit in the headlights. She didn't really know how to argue her case in the final three of the boardroom. And when you get into that boardroom in the final three, although I have to say that I was never in the final three in my series, but when you get into the final three, you have to argue your case. And that's what I was trying to make the point earlier. I know that the girls were really catty and really scrappy with each other, but she wasn't, and that's ultimately probably what got her fired. I mean, Lord Sugar summed it up. She hid in the kind of undergrowth. She didn't work hard, and I don't think she was given an opportunity. If that was her strategy, it was certainly the wrong one. Personally, what I'd have done would have given her another opportunity, probably as project manager next week, put her right into the firing line and given her an opportunity. Because for me, it was all down to the project manager. Laura struggled. She was very, very weak, I thought.
There was a brilliant moment. I mean, you say what you would have done, Lee. Would you not have done this?
If all else fails, bring out the reverse pterodactyl tone. That's what I say.
Reverse, I've had that on my box all night. I wasn't not going to play that.
No, of course.
But you talk about Laura being a useless team leader. She was. I did think she was going to get the boot tonight, to be fair. And there was a great moment. I mean, talk about indecisive.
Oh, brilliant.
There was a brilliant moment where she said these two sentences in the same breath when she was talking about the book device. She said, "I'm not seeing it. I'm going with it." Yeah. She just went 180 degrees in a split second.
And also, as well, guys, she couldn't even make a decision on who to bring back in the final three of the boardroom. And then all of a sudden, it was brilliant, actually, that Lord Sugar let that go, because he kind of let it all steam up again, and everybody started catting around and fighting again and whatever. But, she originally went to bring in two people, and then she changed her mind. It was kind of like, wow, you can't even make a decision. I think, to be fair to her, that's the pressure that you're under, but that's what this process is all about, is to see how you cope under that sort of pressure. For me, she wasn't coping.
All right,
I've got to say, I think her tactic of dealing with all those shrill voices as they argued once again, her tactic of walking out the room, I don't think that was ever really going to command an awful lot of authority if she's not actually in the room to actually ask them just to pipe down a bit.
But who hasn't walked away crying from a meeting to try and have an effect on it?
Oh, no, definitely.
Or is that just me?
That happens all the time, doesn't it, in business?
Right, good. Lee, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem at all. I appreciate it.
No problem. And Toby, you're a man of the media. You watch TV for a living, and you monitor the media. But, we could talk about all the TV programmes in the world, but when you get a story like this that's happening in Chile,